गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Text number 2. Yasya ambhasi shayanasya yasyambhasi shayanasya yasyambhasi shayanasya yoga nidram vitanvataha yoga nidram vitanvataha yoga nidram vitanvataha Nabhi Hrada Ambujad Asid Nabhi Hrada Ambujad Asid Nabhi Hrada Ambujad Asid Brahma Vishwa Srijam Patihi Brahma Vishwa Srijam Patihi Brahma Vishwa Srijam Patihi Yasyambhasi shayanasya yoga nidramvitanvataha nabihradambujadasid Brahma Vishwasrajam Patihi Yasyambhasi shayanasya yoga nidramvitanvataha nabihradambujadasid Brahma Vishwasrajam Patihi. Any of the Matajis? Somebody can lead. Yasya, whose ambhasi, in the water, shayanasya, lying down, yoga nidram, sleeping in meditation, vitanvataha, ministering, nabhi, navel, hrada, out of the lake, ambujat, from the lotus, asid, was manifested, Brahma, the grandfather of the living beings, Vishwa, the universe, Srijam, the engineers, Patihi, master. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. A part of the Purusa lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts the lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. Kindly repeat. A part of the Purusa lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower, atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The first Purusa is the Karanodakasai Vishnu. From his skin holes, innumerable universes have sprung up. In each and every universe, the Purusa enters as the Garbhodakasai Vishnu. He is lying within the half of the universe, which is full with the water of his body. And from the navel of Garbhodakasai Vishnu has sprung the stem of the lotus flower, the birthplace of Brahma, who is the father of all living beings and the master of all the demigod engineers, engaged in the perfect design and working of the universal order. Within the stem of the lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary systems, and the earthly planets are situated in the middle. Upwards, there are other better planetary systems, and the topmost system is called Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. Downwards from the earthly planetary system, there are 7 lower planetary systems inhabited by the Asuras and similar other materialistic living beings. From Garbhodakasai Vishnu, there is expansion of the Kshirodakasai Vishnu, who is the collective Paramatma of all living beings. He is called Hari, and from him all incarnations within the universe are expanded. Therefore, the conclusion is that the Purusha Avatara is manifested in 3 features. First, the Karanodakasai, who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahatattva. Second, the Garbhodakasai, who enters in each and every universe. And third, the Kshirodakasai Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, organic or inorganic. One who knows these plenary features of the personality of Godhead knows Godhead properly, and thus the knower becomes free from the material conditions of birth, death, old age and disease, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad-gita. In this sloka, the subject matter of Mahavishnu is summarized. The Mahavishnu lies down in some part of the spiritual sky by his own free will. Thus, he lies on the ocean of Karana, from where he glances over his material nature, and the Mahatattva is at once created. Thus, electrified by the power of the Lord, the material nature at once creates innumerable universes, just as in due course a tree decorates itself with innumerable grown fruits. The seed of the tree is sown by the cultivator, and the tree or creeper in due course becomes manifested with so many fruits. Nothing can take place without a cause. The Karana ocean is therefore called the causal ocean. Karana means causal. We should not foolishly accept the atheistic theory of creation. The description of the atheist is given in the Bhagavad-gita. The atheist does not believe in the Creator, but he cannot give a good theory to explain the creation. Material nature has no power to create without the power of the Purusa, just as a Prakriti or woman cannot produce a child without the connection of a Purusa or man. The Purusa impregnates and the Prakriti delivers. We should not expect milk from the fleshy bags on the neck of a goat, although they look like breastly nipples. Similarly, we should not expect any creative power from the material ingredients. We must believe in the power of the Purusa, who impregnates Prakriti or nature. Because the Lord wished to lie down in meditation, the material energy created innumerable universes at once. In each of them, the Lord lay down, and thus all the planets and the different paraphernalia were created at once by the will of the Lord. The Lord has unlimited potencies, and thus he can act as he likes by perfect planning, although personally he has nothing to do. No one is greater than or equal to him. That is the verdict of the Vedas. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. So this chapter of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, first canto, is called Krishna is the source of all incarnations, and it begins by describing the Purusa incarnations. In the first words we have seen Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibihi. The Lord first incarnated, took the form of the Purusa. Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam. So he took the form of the Purusa incarnation. Bhagavan Mahadadibihi, and he created the Mahatattva. And Sambhutam Shodasakalam Adau Lokasisrikshaya. And this Mahavishnu or Karanodakasai Vishnu, he created the 16 elements, 16 ingredients, 16 principles of material action. What are these 16 principles? The 5 gross elements, which is earth, water, fire, air and ether. And then there are the 5 working senses or karmendriyas, and 5 jnanendriyas or knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, ears, nose, skin, tongue, etc. And the mind. So these 16 constitute the first principles of creation, which was created by Mahavishnu, post which other things evolved from the combination of these various elements. When they are mixed with the 3 modes of material nature and false ego, then it gives rise to intelligence and different forms of the living entities, etc. All those things came about. So the Mahavishnu first created the universe, which was just like a ball and which was covered by the Mahatattva. After that, in today's verse, it is described that each universe was filled, half filled with water. And Yasya Ambasi, and into that water in each universe, Shayanasya, the Lord lay down. He lay down on Ananta. Yoga Nidram Mitanvataha, and he engaged in Yoga Nidra. So the material manifestation is actually the Yoga Nidra of the Lord. It is the dream of Vishnu, which we are seeing in this material universe around us. So when we say dream, Yoga Nidra, in the sleep of Mahavishnu, when he is dreaming of this material manifestation, does this mean that everything is an illusion? No, because the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, is completely transcendental. He is beyond the influence of ignorance, and he is above all illusion. So when he is in Yoga Nidra, it is not like the Nidra that we undergo. When we sleep, what happens? We lose our connection with reality. We forget who we are, what we are, where we are. We forget everything. And our consciousness becomes subdued. Once we are asleep, what goes on around us, we are unaware. And only when we wake up, we realize what is going on around us. Similarly, the Mahavishnu, when he lies down and sleeps, it is not that he comes under the influence of ignorance and he becomes disconnected from reality. He does not know what is going on around him. No. Because he is the Supreme Lord and because he is above all illusion and ignorance, when he is asleep also he is conscious, and when he dreams in his sleep, that dream itself becomes a reality. And that dream which became a reality is this material world which we are seeing. That's the difference between the Supreme Lord Vishnu and us. Our dream has no reality. It has no factual existence. And it has no meaning, it has no value. But the Supreme Lord Vishnu's dreaming creates a reality, because the Supreme Lord is fully transcendental and He is Param Satya, He is the absolute truth. There is no falsity in Him. So even His dream is a reality. And from His Nabhahrada Ambujad, from the navel, from the lake-like body, Hrada, from the lake-like body of Vishnu, there is His Nabhi Ambuja, there is the lotus of His navel. It's a nice upama, there is a nice simile which is drawn. Why this simile is drawn? Because the Supreme Lord Vishnu is very, very beautiful. He is the most beautiful personality. And His beauty is incomparable. We cannot compare it with anything material. But still, just to give us an idea how beautiful the Lord is, He is described, His different angas, His different parts of His body are compared to a lotus, because the lotus is considered the most beautiful flower in this material world. And so, from the lotus of the navel of Vishnu, which is situated within the lake of His body, Vishwasrijam Patihi Brahma Asid. The personality, the chief engineer of the master of all engineers in the universe, Vishwasrijam. The engineers, why Prabhupada has used the word engineers? Because engineers create many things. They build many things. They produce various machines. So this world is also a big, well-oiled machine. And within this machine of the universe, we are all engaged in creating different things. There are many engineers here who create some wonderful structure like a big skyscraper, or somebody creates a big aeroplane, or somebody creates a big ship, etc. So these are all engineers. But for all these creators who are called engineers within this universe, the master of all of them, Vishwa Srijam Patihi. So the master of all creators, the master of all engineers is Brahma, because he is the original creator. Original creator of the secondary manifestation. Already the universe has been created by Lord Vishnu. And within that, Brahma himself has taken birth. Now further, within that stem of the lotus where Brahma is situated, there are all the 14 planetary systems. Within the planetary systems, the different kinds of bodily manifestations are created by Brahma. So Brahma is only a part creator. He is a part-time creator. He is not the full-fledged creator. But still, even he is considered the Vishwasrijam Patihi. He is the master of all the engineers within this material manifestation, which is already created by the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And Brahma further, from his mind, he creates various personalities. We will see all that happening in the third canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, how Brahma creates various personalities, and they further generate various kinds of offsprings. All the trees, insects, birds, human beings, all kinds of animals, everything are created by these personalities, by these rishis who are generated from the mind of Brahma. So this is the whole process of creation, and we have to understand that, as it is stated in the Satvata Tantra, that Vishnu himself is not the supreme personality of Godhead, in the sense that he is not the fountainhead of all incarnations. Vishnu himself is an incarnation. Vishnostu trini rupani purushakhyanni atho viduhu. There are three forms of Vishnu known as the Purusha avatars. So Vishnu himself is an avatara. He is a Purusha avatara. Vishnostu trini rupani. And there are three kinds of Vishnus. Vishnostu trini rupani purushakhyanni. They are called akhya. Akhyani means they are called, they are termed, they are titled. What are they titled? Purusha. As it is stated in the previous verse in this Bhagavatam, Jagrihe Paurusham Rupa. So Purusha Akhyani Atho Viduhu. And they are known as Purusha. They are known as the Purusha Avatara, Purusha Incarnation. What are those three forms of Vishnu? They are Ekam tu Mahataha Srashtru. The first is the creator of Mahat Tattva, as it is described in the previous verse of the Bhagavatam, of this chapter which we are discussing. Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibihi. So, Ekam tu Mahataha Srashtru. The first is the creator of Mahat Tattva. Dvitiyam tu Andasamsthitam. The second form of Vishnu is the Vishnu who lies down within the universe, within the water, which is half filling each universe, which is what we are discussing in today's verse. Yasya ambasi shayanasya. So, Dvitiyam tu Andasamsthitam. The second Vishnu enters into each and every universe. He is the universal super soul. He is the cause of this universe sustaining and the various planets moving around in their various orbits and the entire universal affairs. For that, the Paramatma is the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. He is called Garbha Udaka Sai because he is Yasyambasi Shayanasya. He is lying down on the Garbha Udaka, on the ocean which is filling each universe. And the first Vishnu, who is Mahavishnu, is also known as Karanodaka Sai because he is lying down on the causal ocean, and from him the various universes are manifested. And into each and every universe, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu enters. Tritiyam tu Sarvabhutastam. And the third form of Vishnu is the form of Paramatma, who is present within the heart of each and every living entity, as well as within each and every atom. Andantarastham Paramanu Jayantarastham. He is within each and every Paramanu, within every atom also, that Vishnu is pervading, who is known as Paramatma, and he is known as Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, because within each universe there is a planet which is filled with a milk ocean, in which again Vishnu lies down on Ananta Shesha. Therefore, he is called Kshira Udaka Sai Vishnu. These are the three Purusa incarnations of the Supreme Lord. And who are these? These Purusa incarnations of the Supreme Lord, as the word Purusha Avatara itself means, it is the descent of the Supreme Lord into this material world. So, who is the Supreme Lord who has descended into this material world as the Purusha Avatara, as Mahavishnu, and further as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu? Who is that? That is the Supreme Lord Narayana, who resides in Vaikuntha. So, Narayana is the source of even Vishnu, and Narayana always resides in the spiritual world, which is Vaikuntha Loka. Now, who is the source of this Narayana? Where is Narayana coming from? Who created him? So that we have to understand, as it is described in the third canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. That we have to understand is who is that person. Actually, this whole chapter is dedicated, the second chapter of the first canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam is dedicated to understanding who is that source of even that Narayana also. And the entire Bhagavatam is pointing towards that personality who is the fountainhead of all incarnations and expansions of all Vishnu Tattvas, including Narayana himself. So, in the third canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is described then that Yan Martya Leela Upayikam Swayoga Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam. That the Supreme Lord, Yan Martya Leela Upayikam, to carry out pastimes which are human in nature, which resemble the activities of human beings. Yan Martya, Martya means human beings. Yan Martya Leela Upayikam. So, to carry out Leela pastimes like human beings, Upayikam, a suitable form, is taken by the Supreme Lord. Yan Martya Leela Upayikam Swayoga Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam. To Darshayata, to display Martya Leela, to display human Leelas, pastimes which are similar to human activities. Grihitam, the Supreme Lord has accepted a form, Leela Martya Aupayikam, a form which is suitable for his human pastimes. And what is this form? Is it some material form? No. Swayogamaya balam. It is manifested by his own potency. It is his personal original form. And this form of that Supreme Lord, who is the fountainhead of all incarnations, Vismapanam swasyacha saubhagardehe. That form of the Lord, which resembles exactly like a human being, and which is manifested within this material world to carry out various human-like pastimes of the Supreme Lord, is Vismapanam. It is astonishing. It is something which is very bewildering. Bewildering for whom? Not only for Brahma, not only for us human beings, not only for all the devatas. Vismapanam swasyacha saubhagardehe. It is bewildering, it is astonishing even for saubhagardehe. It is astonishing for the personality who is most opulent, who is displaying the greatest opulence. Saubhagariddhihi. Who is the most opulent personality in all the entire manifestation, both spiritual and material worlds, if you take together? It is Narayana. Narayana is the most opulent personality. And that Narayana himself becomes astonished, seeing the wonderful human-like pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Visvapanam swasyacha saubhagardehe tat paramam padam bhushana bhushanangam. That form of the Lord is paramam padam, is actually the ultimate, the supreme form of the Supreme Lord. There is no other form beyond that. There is no other cause beyond that. He is the cause of all causes. And he is bhushana bhushanangam. He is the ornament for all ornaments. When we dress our deities, Krishna and Balaram, we offer them beautiful dresses. Some dresses you will find when we offer to the Lord, when the Lord is wearing them, it looks very beautiful. The different colors, the green and yellow and pink and all those bright colors, vibrant colors, it looks so beautiful when the Lord wears it. Now that same dress, you take it and similar, exactly same color combination and embroidery and all that, you make it and put it for a human being. How will it look? People will laugh. He'll become a joke. It will look so awkward. So actually, the beauty is not in the dress. When that same dress goes on to be worn by the Lord, it acquires a special beauty. The Lord makes that dress beautiful. So he is bhushana bhushanangam. When the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is decorated with various ornaments, the ornaments do not enhance his beauty. He enhances the beauty of the ornaments. And that is why he is bhushana bhushanangam. He is the ornament of all ornaments. And that Krishna, when he displays his human-like pastimes within this material world, it is astonishing even for Narayana. Why is it astonishing for Narayana? Because the kind of pastimes that Krishna exhibits is something which is unmatched. Nobody can match the kind of pastimes that Lord Krishna exhibited. In fact, our acharyas have analyzed how the Supreme Lord has various qualities, and we, living entities, being part and parcel, amshas of Krishna, we also possess some small percentage of those qualities. Out of all the living entities within this material world, Brahma is Vishwasrajampati. He is the master of all the creators. He is the topmost personality. So he possesses the maximum number of qualities that anybody can possess. Qualities such as honesty, truthfulness, beauty, intelligence, humility. So in this material world, you can find personalities with one or two or a few good qualities. Somebody is very humble, but he may not be intelligent. Somebody may be very intelligent, he may not be very beautiful. Somebody may be very beautiful, he may not be humble. So we find people with some qualities in this world, but you don't find somebody with all the qualities. But Brahma is a person who manifests the maximum number of qualities. He possesses 50 qualities. Imagine in this world, if somebody possesses even one or two qualities, he becomes very beautiful, whole world gets attracted to him. He is very powerful, whole world gets attracted to him. He is very intelligent, whole world gets attracted to him. So somebody is having 50 qualities. My God, very attractive personality. But that Brahma's 50 qualities are exceeded by Lord Shiva. In that he possesses 5 more qualities than Brahma. He has 55 qualities. And Narayana, Vishnu possesses 60 qualities. He possesses 5 more qualities than Lord Shiva. So Narayana possesses 60 qualities like control, self-control, humility, beauty, power, intelligence, and kindness, compassion. All these kinds of qualities you can find in Narayana, in Vishnu. Now Lord Krishna has 4 more qualities than even Narayana. He has 4 special qualities. What are the special qualities of Krishna that even Narayana does not possess? Because of which Narayana becomes attracted to Krishna. Narayana becomes astonished by Krishna's these 4 qualities. What are those qualities? The first quality of Krishna, which he possesses even beyond Narayana, is Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara Leela Kallola Varidihi. He performs pastimes, innumerable pastimes, Kallola, Leela Kallola Varidihi, like the waves of the ocean. Can we count the number of waves of the ocean? Krishna performs unlimited pastimes. Okay, pastimes, all incarnations exhibit. Lord Ramachandra also exhibited many pastimes. Narasimha also exhibited. Narayana also exhibits. But then, Sarvadbhuta Chamatkara, the kind of pastimes which Krishna performs is Sarva Adbhuta, is astonishing for everyone. Including, Sarva means everything is included. Even Narayana becomes astonished. And Chamatkara, they are miraculous. Like Krishna lifting Govardhana at the age of 7 years on his fingertip. Such a wonderful pastime. Has Narayana ever performed such a pastime? It is possible for him to lift Govardhana, but where has he performed that pastime? It is Krishna who performs such pastimes. And the second quality of Krishna, which is even more amazing, is that Atulya Prema Mandita Priyamandalaha. He is always surrounded by devotees who are possessed of Atulya Prema, of unequal, unrivaled love for him. Even Narayana has unlimited devotees. Lord Ramachandra has also unlimited devotees. But the devotees of Krishna, they have Atulya Prema, Atulya Madhura Prema Mandita Priyamandalaha. So they have Madhura Prema, they have Madhurya Prema, the sweetness of the love of the Vrajavasis, especially of the gopis, cannot be rivaled by anyone. Narayana also exchanges Madhurya Rasa. With whom? With one Lakshmi Devi only. With only one Lakshmi Devi, he exchanges Madhurya Rasa. Look at Krishna. Krishna has 16,108 queens in Dwaraka. And he has unlimited number of gopis. So this is amazing even for Narayana. Narayana also has only one Lakshmi Devi. Krishna has innumerable Lakshmis and gopis serving him, filled with Madhurya Prema. And then the third quality of Krishna is the Murali Kalakujitaha. His the wonderful melodious sound which emanates when Krishna plays on his flute. So this Murali Kalakujitaha, this the melody that comes out of the flute of Krishna is Trijagan Manasakarshi. It attracts the mind of all the 3 worlds. When Krishna starts playing his flute, even Brahma and Shiva give up all their activities and sit down and bend their head and meditate deeply on the sound which is coming from the flute of Krishna. It is so enchanting. And the fourth quality of Krishna, which is unique to him, is that Asamanordva Rupa Shri Vismapita Characharaha. His beauty, Krishna's beauty is Asamanordva. There is nobody else who is as beautiful as Krishna, and there is nobody more beautiful than Krishna. Asamana Urdhva. There is nobody who can equal Krishna in his beauty. There is nobody who can surpass Krishna's beauty. That means even Narayana's beauty is lesser than the beauty of Krishna. And such is the beauty of Krishna that Vismapita Characharaha, whenever any living entity is, Chara Achara, whether it is a living entity or Achara, it is a non-moving living entity. It may be trees, plants, all these kinds of, or stones. Even they, when they see the beauty of Krishna, what happens? Vismapita, they become stunned. This is exhibited by all the living entities in Vrindavan. When Krishna stands there in his three-bent form and he plays his flute, even the deers, cows, calves, all of them, they become stunned. They are unable to move. They are not even able to blink their eyes. This is the beauty of Krishna. It is so attractive. So like this, Krishna has four qualities which excel even that of Narayana. And so Krishna is that fountainhead who is the source of all incarnations, even of Narayana, who actually is expanding himself into the Purusa avatars within this material universe. So we can see how the description of the creation given in the Vedic scriptures is all very personal. It is all person oriented. One person is there who is the original creator. Further he expands himself into various personalities, and they further keep delegating further and further activities of the creation. So Krishna expanded himself as Balarama, Balarama expanded himself as the first Chaturvyuha, and the first Sankarsana expanded himself as Narayana, that Narayana expanded himself as the second Chaturvyuha, and that Sankarsana of the second Chaturvyuha expanded himself as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu manifested the universe. Into the universe, that Mahavishnu expands as Garbhodakasai Vishnu, and that Garbhodakasai Vishnu manifests all the different planets within this universe, and he gives birth to Lord Brahma, and then further into each and every universe, that Garbhodakasai Vishnu expands as Kshirodakasai Vishnu, and Brahma further takes up the task of filling the different planets with all kinds of living entities, and into each and every living entities and atoms heart, Kshirodakasai Vishnu enters as the Paramatma. So we can see how one after another, the different tasks are delegated to subsequent personalities, and eventually this whole universe which we are seeing is manifested. This is the theory of creation given in the Vedas. Now, when all this is described, the atheists and the scientists, they do not give credence to all this. They say, this is all stories. Why? They say there is no evidence, there is no proof for all this. So what they say, if they reject this theory of creation, then they have to have another alternative theory. Otherwise, who will accept their theory? So they came up with a theory known as the Big Bang theory. Sorry. So according to the Big Bang theory, there was nothing, and all of a sudden, in that nothing, there was an explosion, and that's called the Big Bang, and from which all matter came out. And they have been trying to formulate various mathematical models to illustrate how this could have happened. And towards this end, they have done various experiments, and a few years back they also did an experiment on a particle accelerator, saying that this would prove the existence of the Higgs boson, which is also called God particle. And the way it was presented, the kind of buzz it created, everybody thought now science has got the proof for the Big Bang theory. But actually, what is this Higgs boson? The Higgs boson is actually a particle which was postulated to be present, to be existing by a scientist called Higgs. I don't know, whatever his name was, after whom this particle was named. And he postulated that after the Big Bang, one particle or a beam existed, which he postulated that was the Higgs boson. And they did this experiment, and they proved that actually this particle exists. So it has still not proven the Big Bang theory. It has only proven the existence of a particle which was there after the Big Bang happened, not before. So according to them, there was nothing, and from nothing there was an explosion. So first of all, we have to understand, we have to use our intelligence and logic to understand this theory. When we hear this Big Bang theory, it appears very nice. There was nothing, there was an explosion, and things came out, and when the explosion happened, simultaneously there were forces of repulsion and force of gravitation, and that's how all matter started accumulating and planets came together, etc., etc., etc. So first of all, this theory itself, at the fundamental root, we have to look at it. Further, they go on to explain how further the gravitational force pulled all the elements together, and then the atoms came together, formed molecules, molecules became compounds, elements became compounds, compounds slowly started evolving into more and more complex compounds, and that is how we have this whole material world which we see. And and to prove this, they take one complex compound. You take any complex compound, you can break it down into elements. Those elements can be broken down into different molecules, and those molecules can be further broken down into atoms. So it proves what we are saying. So this is the modus operandi taken by the scientists to prove their theory. Now I'll give you another example to illustrate this. Suppose we go to some place. Let us say we go on a picnic. When we go on a picnic, we come across a beautiful mango orchard. All the trees are properly planted at specific distances so that all the trees get equal sunlight, and all the trees are laden with beautiful sweet mangoes. When you look at it, you will surmise that how did this mango orchard come into existence? Then I will tell you the story. I'll tell you how the mango orchard came into existence. Long back, there was a flower in the sky. From the flower in the sky, one seed fell down. And when that seed fell down, one small plant grew from it. And that plant further gave flowers, and seeds came from it. And slowly, like this, these plants went on reproducing, and gradually over millions of years, those plants became more and more complex, and gradually over a period of time, it has evolved into this mango tree. And then one mango tree evolved, and from that mango tree, various mangoes came out, and some of them fell into this space, and so gradually it became filled with mango trees, and now we have the mango orchard. So you want proof? I'll prove how the mango tree. I'll give all kinds of analysis and research to establish how previously the mango trees evolved from simpler plant forms, etc. I'll give all kinds of evidences for you. So does that mean my theory is proved? First of all, the beginning. What is the beginning of my theory? There was a flower in the sky. Can at any point of time, is it possible to have a flower in the sky? Will the sky give birth to a flower? It is not possible, no. Such a thing never existed. It will never exist in the future also. Flower in the sky gave birth to one flower. Does such a thing exist? It never exists. So you are giving a theory that from something which never existed, all this has come about. How is it possible? The fundamental premise of your theory itself is flawed. Because how can something come out of something which does not exist? So that's the reality. Nothing can come out of something which does not exist. Something has to exist. Then from that you can say, okay, something came out. So similarly, you look at the explanation of the Big Bang theory. They say there was nothing, and out of nothing, the Big Bang happened. First of all, does something called nothing exist? First of all, the question we have to ask is, does anything called nothing exist? Actually, something called nothing can never exist. It is not possible. So, if something called nothing exists, then it is something, it is not nothing. It is something, no. Then the question will come, where did that something come from? For that, the scientists won't have any explanation. So, they are saying there was nothing. So, what is that nothing? That nothing is something which does not exist. And from that existence came. How can you accept this? How can something come out of something which does not exist at all? So, just like there is a flower in the sky which does not exist, how can it give a seed? And then you go on building a whole theory behind it. So, but then your beginning of your premise itself it's not possible. So, similarly, when something called nothing doesn't exist, then how can it give rise to an explosion? And if something has to explode, something must have been there to explode. Just like when Diwali comes, all of us burst firecrackers, so we can hear a lot of explosions. So whenever explosion happens, there has to be, we know, oh, Diwali has come, people have started cracking firecrackers. There is a lot of but sound, everything is bursting. And somebody comes into the room and says, nothing is exploding all over the place. What will you say? Have you gone crazy or what? How can nothing explode? It's all firecrackers, people are bursting. Without even seeing, you know that. And whenever somebody bursts firecrackers, what happens? Whatever object was there which were exploding, it will get destroyed. By exploding a firecracker, has anybody created anything? It is impossible to create anything by explosion. So, the scientists say that there was a Big Bang, there was an explosion, and because of the explosion, all the matter started moving outward. It was just like it happens in any explosion, things are thrown outward. Simultaneously, the force of gravitation also came into existence. From where did it come into existence? And that force of gravitation pulled back all the mass, and that is how planets were formed. Very nice to hear. But from where did that force of gravitation come into existence? It popped out of nothing, is it? So these are all childish theories. Actually, if you try to logically understand all these theories, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. In fact, even mathematicians tell that the probability of the Big Bang happening is 0. What is the meaning of the probability of something happening is 0? That means it cannot happen, it will not happen. That is what it means. Just like, what is the probability of finding a flower which has grown from the sky? Probability is 0. Why? Because such a thing doesn't exist. Now, although the probability of this material universe coming to existence is 0, fact is material world has come into existence. Now, for something which has a 0 probability of happening, it has happened. How do you explain this? Suppose, before this temple was built, let us say I brought one truckload of bricks, about say 50,000 bricks I bought, and I dumped it here. All the bricks I dumped it here. Then I bought some 100 bags of cement, dumped it here. Bought some sand, dumped it here. Brought few drums of water and kept it here. Now, all the ingredients are there. What is the probability that all these bricks, cement, sand, water, all these things will come together on their own and this temple building will be formed? What is the probability? Probability is 0. It cannot happen, isn't it? It cannot happen. So, probability is 0. But still, this building we are seeing has come into existence. What does that mean? That means somebody has put his mind into it, has used his intelligence, and he has designed this building, and he has put effort and built it. He has conceived of a room of this dimension, of this height, of this color, and he has put all the ingredients together, and he has made it happen. So whenever something which has a zero probability of occurrence happens, we have to understand that somebody has made it happen. Otherwise, by its own, it cannot happen. So this material creation, even though it has a zero probability of coming into existence, has come into existence, means that somebody made it happen. Who is that somebody who made it happen? That is given in the Srimad-Bhagavatam and the Vedic scriptures, that it is Maha-Vishnu who has made it happen. And even beyond Maha-Vishnu, there is Narayana and there is Lord Krishna. Now, it is for every intelligent human being to sit and study the Vedic scriptures, understand the process of creation, and evaluate it against the other theories of creation which are available. Big Bang and the primordial soup and the evolution and all these kind of things. These are other theories which are existing. Those theories also do not have proof. Proof in the sense that you cannot show, you cannot demonstrate, you cannot, in front of our eyes, we cannot demonstrate it actually happening. So, now for us, we have to logically understand which makes more sense. The problem with the approach of the scientists in trying to find out the source of the creation is, there is a fundamental difference in the approach, in the way the Vedas are describing the process of creation and the way the scientists are describing. The Vedas are describing the process of creation from the point of view of revelation by the person who has created. The person who has created, Mahavishnu who has created, has himself given this knowledge. This is how I created. So, as it is stated, etad mahataha nishvasitam etad. All the Vedas are emanations from the breathing of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So, the person who is created has told how he has created. Now, when it comes to the scientists and the atheists, they say, no, we don't want to accept this. We want to discover for ourselves how we were created. Now, for this, Prabhupada gives a wonderful example. This approach is like a child trying to understand how he was born, who is his father. The child is born, has come into existence. And after he is born, he becomes conscious, then he becomes aware of the world around him, then he starts thinking, who is my source, from where did I come? Now an event has already happened in the past. His birth has already happened in the past. When that event has already passed and he was not aware, he was not there to observe that phenomenon happening, the phenomenon of his birth happening, I was not there to observe the phenomenon of my birth happening. Now I am aware that I am born. But when I was taking birth, I could not observe. So, in such a situation, it is not possible for me to discover who is the source of my birth, who is my father and who is my mother. My mother has to tell me, this is your father and I am your mother, and I have to accept it. After my mother and father tell me, we are your parents, you can do a DNA test and figure out whether you are their child or not. But if you want to discover on your own, no, I will not accept your world. I will do DNA test for the entire 700 crores of people on this earth and try to find out. Is it possible? Not practical. So, an event which has already happened, but you can understand that you are born from a set of parents because you are observing there are more children being born from parents. One husband and wife come together and child is born. Through the union of the man and the woman, child is born. We are able to observe. So we are deducing. Therefore, I must also have been born from a similar set of man and woman, my parents. We can only deduce by that. Now suppose you are the only person who are born and there is nobody else in this universe. Will you be able to figure out whether how you were born, that the union of a man and a woman gives birth to a child? Will you be able to know? You will never know, no matter how much experimentation you do. When your parents come and tell you, you have to accept, okay, this is how you are born. Oh, I see, this is how I am born. So, we have to understand that a phenomenon has happened in the past. The creation of this universe has happened in the past. We were not there to observe how the creation is happening. After post-creation, after the creation has happened, we have come into existence in this world. So an event which happened in the past, which I could not observe, which nobody else has observed, how can I come to know about it? By experimentation, by theory, by mathematics and physics and all those kind of things. It is impossible to come to the real conclusion. The only way is the person who was there at that point of time of creation has to tell us. And that person who was there when the creation happened was not even Brahma, because Brahma also came later. It is Vishnu who has to tell us. So, all the Vedas are actually given by the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, they are apaurushaya. They are not written by ordinary human beings. Therefore, they are perfect and they give us perfect knowledge. So, it is up to us. We have to, like this, we have to logically, with our intelligence, we have to evaluate all the kinds of theories of creation which are available. Then we have to accept whichever is most logical. So, of course, it does not mean that the whatever is described in the Vedas does not have any proof. There is proof, there is evidence, but not the kind of evidence that the scientists demand. There are different kinds of evidences which are there. So, the kind of evidence which is given in the Vedas is called Shruti Pramana. There is Shruti Pramana, there is Pratyaksha Pramana, there is Anumana Pramana. So, epistemology itself is a big science. And you can understand actually the Vedic knowledge is so very refined, and it is very in great detail. It gives the process of creation and the different aspects of this creation. It's not some vague philosophy which we cannot understand. Simply on blind faith you have to accept. No, with your logic, with your reasoning, we can understand. So this actually to explain the process of creation by saying that there was nothing and it exploded and this whole world came into existence is a very simplistic way of looking at things. Very easy to explain. 3 lines over. Now nothing exploded, the world has come. A very simple theory. But if you have to explain that a person created this, it's very complicated. So who is that person? What are his qualities? Where is his abode? How does he create? When does he create? Why does he create? So many questions come into the picture. Then nothing and it exploded. No question. Why it exploded? Can you ask? You cannot ask that question. When did it explode? Sometime it exploded. Okay, you may give a date also to that. But why can you answer? There is no question. So practically there is no questioning involved. There is no use of intelligence involved. Don't use your intelligence. Blindly believe. Nothing was there. It exploded. Creation has happened. That's all. This is called blind faith. Whereas when you explain the creation from the point of view of person creating, so many questions you have to explain and you have to give answers which will be logically, which will be reasonable. That requires, that's not easy, that's very complicated. That is exactly what the Vedas are doing. They are giving us in detail what are the elements which constitute this creation, how they are created, why they are created, what is the purpose of our existence, what is our nature characteristic, what is the nature characteristic of the material world which is created. So in such great detail these things are explained. So this is not ordinary, this is therefore this knowledge is transcendental. It cannot be created, it cannot be thought up, it cannot be somebody's imagination, all these things, it is not possible. So if you have to imagine something, we have to imagine something very simple. Nothing was there, something exploded, something came, something very simple like that you can think of. But something very complicated like this, it's not, nobody can think up like that. So therefore we have to understand these are all factual realities, and there are evidences which are available. Different kinds of pramanas are there. We cannot depend only on one kind of pramana, which is the pratyaksha pramana, direct perception. But there are other types of evidences also which can be presented to prove the theories which are given in the Bhagavatam. So we have to evaluate all of them with an unbiased approach and with a open, clear mind, and then we will be able to see the logic, the reasoning, and the factual reality of how the Vedas are explaining the genuine, the real way that this creation has come about. So I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.